Good evening. I'm Shay, and I've had an abortion.
And I'm Crystal, and I've had an abortion.
Today we're going to be talking about Roe v. Wade because we just had the 36th anniversary on January 22nd, 2009, and we're also going to be educating you about the Hyde Amendment. Now I will pass it over to Crystal. Crystal is going to give you a little more history on Roe v. Wade.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Roe v. Wade was and still is one of the most controversial legal cases in history. In 1969, Norma McCorvey was allegedly raped and became pregnant. She decided on an abortion but could not obtain one because it was illegal at that time, except in cases where the mother's life was at risk. She was given the alias Jane Roe, and suit was filed against the state of Texas alleging that they were violating her constitutional rights and the rights of other women as well, with their abortion laws. Henry B. Wade was the district attorney of Dallas County at the time, and he was the defendant. The case was first argued in December of 1971 and again in 1972. On January 22nd, 1973, the Supreme Court ruled in Roe's favor, stating that her 9th and 14th Amendment rights were violated. The decision gave women the total control over their pregnancies for the first 12 weeks, and state laws varied from state to state for the rest of the pregnancy.
That's all?
Yes, that's
Okay, so you got a little history about Roe v. Wade and how abortion rights and how abortion became legal. So now I want to talk about the Hyde Amendment. Now, many people may not know what the Hyde Amendment is, so I'll educate you a little. The Hyde Amendment is an amendment that causes women to face difficult situations because the government denies abortion funding to women in need. In 1976, Congress passed the Hyde Amendment, which forbids federal funding for abortion. The only exceptions are rape, cases of incest, danger to the life of the mother. Most states have also banned state Medicaid funding for abortion. So that means if you receive public assistance in your state and you have a Medicaid card, your Medicaid card will not cover funding for an abortion. Now, before the Hyde Amendment, women could access abortion services regardless of their income because Medicaid covered abortion care like it did with any other medical service. So, for instance, when Roe v. Wade was determined and abortion rights were made legal, women can use their Medicaid card to get an abortion and it will cover the service fully. But in 1976, this right was taken away. Henry Hyde was actually a representative from Illinois. Now, Congress also denies abortion coverage to military personnel and their families, women receiving care from Indian Health Services, and people on disability insurance. Now, I don't know if you know, but based on abortion funding, it most severely affects poor women. So that means the reproductive age is 15 to 44, and out of the age bracket of 15 to 44, the poorest women, which are on Medicaid, cannot get assistance with abortion, even though Medicaid covers everything else. Women on public assistance, they face a double bind. On average, a poor woman makes, that's below 150% of the poverty level, she makes like $930 a month. And you figure the average abortion costs $370 at 10 weeks. So you figure if she has to pay for an abortion and she's living off $930, that's going to risk her to forego food, maybe eviction, pawning items. So we just want to educate you on how important it is for women, especially poor women, to come to the table and fight to repeal the Hyde Amendment. Do we have a caller? Okay. It's already, a bad situation when women are childbirthing age. They have children, they're making no money, and then they have to pay for an abortion, and the government just won't cover any of it unless in Illinois, unless it's an endangerment of the woman. Do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, I do. So I mean, what do you think? Do you think we can get the Hyde Amendment repealed? Or?
It's a fight. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I can't just outright say, yes, we can get it appealed. But the more and more we become involved and come to the table and talk to our legislators and create groups and organizations where we are standing up to say, hey, this is all right. Mm-hmm. You know, if Medicaid covers everything else, why is it a disparity with women? Right. You know, NANAF, which is the National Network of Abortion Funds, which we are a member of their organization, they have a big 30 Years is Enough Hyde campaign. So you can actually go to their website at nanaf.org, and you can actually sign a petition that they have in effort to repeal the Hyde Amendment. And they also have a lot of good information about the disparities that it causes poor women. Right. You know, the Hyde Amendment, how, you know, they have to forego everything. Now, when I was doing some research on the Guttmacher Institute, that's the institute that does a lot of research surrounding women's rights, it noted that poor women have been pawns in the congressional debate over abortion since the procedure became legal. Mm-hmm. So we have been like the major target.
Right.
It also said that Hyde told colleagues during a congressional debate over Medicaid funding in 1977 that I certainly would like to prevent, if I could legally, anybody having an abortion, a rich woman, a middle-class woman, or poor woman. Unfortunately, the only vehicle available is the Medicaid bill. So since he couldn't make it illegal because we won Roe 1, right, he set up a ban on medical funding, which targets poor women. We have a caller. Good evening, caller.
Good evening. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I just happened to turn it and saw the title of I'm on cable and I'm watching you. I think it's a very interesting subject that you are speaking of. I wanted to find out, number one, how long has the Chicago Abortion Fund been in existence?
We actually been around since 1985.
Wow. Okay. And let me ask you, how do you all deal with the opposition? Because of course you all know that there's a lot of people who are against things like this, which is probably why the support is not,
right.
Well, number one, because I have never heard of this organization.
Right. I mean, one of the greatest things that we do is like this public access cable channel. We reach out to things like this and get the message out to let people know, because yes, a lot of people are not aware of Chicago Abortion Fund. A lot of people are not aware of, what Roe v. Wade is all about, what the Hyde Amendment is about. So what we do is we target groups of people and low-income women and women to say, hey, this is what's going on, and we offer you guys the chance to support us.
To get involved.
I can actually show you our information. Anyone that wants to contact us for volunteer or whatever, you can definitely contact us. We are on MySpace. You can YouTube our past shows. We really appreciate your support. So I'll go ahead and give you our information. Okay, so Crystal, did you have any more questions you want to ask about the Hyde Amendment?
Yeah, I do. What do you think? How do you think the Hyde Amendment affects the women in the state of Illinois?
Well, it drastically affects women in the state of Illinois.